Bill Clinton, give it up.
Battery's low. Obama's talking. Here we go.
Nobody makes the case for change that works for the middle class like President Bill Clinton. Nobody. And while I'm at it, I'd also want to say just a little something about Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton. Because I learned from her and President Clinton as a candidate. I am proud to call them my friends. I know how much we'll need both Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton in the months and years to come. Florida, I think you'll all agree with me that we all wish that the last 8 years looked a lot more like the Clinton years when he was in the White House. Before I move on, there are just a couple of other acknowledgments that I've got to make. First of all, one of the finest United States senators we have and one of the finest gentlemen that I know, not to mention he's an astronaut. I mean, it's cool being president, but being an astronaut, that's something else. So please give a big round of applause to your own Senator Bill Nelson and his wonderful wife, Grace Nelson. Seen her, but I heard she was here, and I want to acknowledge her, your wonderful Congresswoman Corrine Brown. I want to thank State Representative Darren Soto, Olga Tanyon, Cheryl Grebe, and finally I want to say that before we came on, we had a chance to say hello to the most recent Democratic president, Jimmy Schmidt. When you listen to Bill Clinton, you are reminded of what it's like to have a president who is engaged, who's passionate, who's smart, who reaches out, who's inclusive instead of divisive, who has energy, who has vision. And you start getting kind of nostalgic about 22 million new jobs and a budget surplus and an economy that's working for everybody. And that's why we can't have 4 more years just like the last 8 that we've had. It's time for the kind of peace and prosperity that we saw in the 1990s. Now, I really just have 2 words for you tonight. 6 days. 6 days. After a decade of broken politics in Washington, after 8 years of failed policies by George W. Bush, after 21 months of a campaign that has taken us from the rocky shores of Maine to the sunshine of California, we are 6 days away from bringing about change in America. 6 days away. In 6 days, you can turn the page on policies that have put greed and irresponsibility on Wall Street before the hard work and sacrifice of people on Main Street. In 6 days, you can choose policies that invest in our middle class and create new jobs and grow this economy from the bottom up, the way Bill Clinton was talking about, so that everyone has a chance to succeed. From the CEO to the secretary, from the factory owner to the people who are working on the factory floor. In 6 days, you can put an end to the politics that would divide this nation just to win an election, that tries to pit region against region, city against town, Republican against Democrat, that asks us to fear instead of hope. In 6 days, you can give this country the change we need. So we began this journey in the depths of winter 2 years ago on the steps of the old state capitol in Springfield, Illinois. And back then we didn't have much money. We didn't have many endorsements. We weren't given much of a chance by the polls or the pundits. We knew that this would be a steep climb. But I also knew this. That's the same thing Bill Clinton understood when he